Grace and peace, family. I hope everybody's feeling amazing, because I am. Alright, so I was in the gym and I had like this random thought, and it made me think of y'all and the fact that I haven't done a long form video in forever. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down on that thought. And the thought I had was, I was so grateful to be out of my hermit season, like my winter solstice season. That's like your shedding season. I know me, I go within when it becomes like winter time. For the most part, that's what it is for me. I pull everything back and just go inside and start really looking through all those places that I don't look. And it got me thinking, does everyone know their seasons and how to apply them to themselves? Because you have seasons outside of you, but you also have seasons within you. And I was just wondering, like, does everyone know the difference? And I was like, you know what, this is a good video. So here I am, coming to you live from my office space, asking you about your seasons, because this is very important and it helps you move forward. So let's get into this seasonal video. So what do the seasons really mean? Now, we already know we have the winter, spring, summer, fall, right? In that order. However you start, they're always going to go in that order, right? So for me, winter is always that season of introspection. This is when you really think about who you are. You take kind of a vow of silence. You go within and you surrender all the things about yourself that no longer serve you. Whether it's thought patterns, whether it's habits, whether it's even people. You really sort through the purpose of everything in your life. So for me, this is not a difficult season. It's a very closed off season. I like it because I love internal work. I'm all about the self-mastery. I'm all about understanding you, because when you really know who you are, you're unshakable. And I mean, without anyone else attached to you. Because some of us know who we are with the titles of everyone around us. You know who you are if you're mommy. You know who you are if you're daddy. You know who you are if you're son, if you're husband, if you're wife. You know who you are with your title, but you don't know who you are when the only thing you have is your name. So again, this is a season that can be difficult if you're someone who doesn't spend enough time with yourself and looking internally at yourself. But once you really get comfortable in this season, it affects all of the others. So I'm coming out of that season, which for me is fun. It's when you really realize if someone has a purpose in your life, or a habit has a purpose in your life. One habit I shedded this year was questioning my own intuition. I feel like everyone does. You always wonder if that internal voice you're getting is yours, or, are you hearing it accurately? Figuring out timing too, because there's times where you're told something's coming and you're like, oh no, I gotta move fast, and realizing nothing is ever moving fast. So this was a season where I really wanted to get that on point. I wanted my intuition to be so on point. There was no question in it. So I took the time to focus on it. So I really enjoyed this season. I'm hoping everybody's coming out of their winter season and it was just purposeful, because you really use this season. You make every other season comfortable. So now we're going into spring season. For me, spring is awakening, it's renewal, it's rebirth, it's all of the seeds sprouting. Just like you see, new little plants all over the place. This is sprout season. I love spring season. So I'm going into my favorite one. This is when I see all the fruits of my labor. So for me, I understand how my seasons go, but I even understand how they correlate with myself. I know that when I get to be in fall season and I'm preparing to go into winter, it's my season of reflection. That's my planning season. That's when I really sit down and decide on the new goals that are up and coming. So fall for me is always one where I really just dive in head first, because now it's who you've been this whole year, making sure that that is who you still intend to be. And if you have anything else you need to pluck or prune from the plant before you allow it to go to sleep. Yeah, so like I said, understanding your seasons is really going to change how you look at your spiritual walk, because it's going to give you a good understanding as to how to move. Winter season is not a moving season for me. It is a resting season for me. So this whole time I've been resting, just like the daisies and the posies and the carnations. I've been resting it up, because now is my season to come out and decide which flower I'm going to be this year. I'm going to give a couple of tips on how to figure out what season you're in based on your emotions and your outside. All right, so we're going to start with winter and go with how to figure out if you are in a winter season within and if it correlates with the winter season without. So when I'm going into a winter season, it usually feels as if it feels like going to sleep. It feels dormant. That's how I kind of know that I'm in my full winter season. I feel a lot more tired, a lot more fatigue. I easily am able to get to rest, easily able to fall asleep. Yeah, that's usually it. During that time, I want to sleep more than anything else. So it is my connection season. I tend to connect better with my spirit guides, with the Holy Spirit, with the Lord. This is when I'm sitting in a lot of meditation. Now, meditation for me always feels better when it is spring and summer, because the sun helps just open things up. But for the most part, I'm spending time with my Father in winter. And it is because I want to make sure that I identify with who I am intending on becoming. And that's always it. You always want to make sure that you're becoming the person you set out to become. But if you identify with that person, because there are a lot of times you'll start down a path to become someone, and it's not because that's who you want to be, it's because that's who the world makes you feel like you need to become. Understanding the difference is going to change your success rate. Because if you're becoming somebody who you identify with in the heart space, this is who you are truly are, it's going to be successful. When you have difficulty upholding it, meaning you see somebody doing spiritual content online and you trying to do spiritual content, you all don't resonate with you, you just see somebody else having success with it and you want to prove that you don't have success, you're not going to succeed, because it's not really what you should be doing. So pay attention to what you're doing and how it feels to you. That way you know if you're in alignment. Next season is going to be spring. Spring is awakening. That's my renewal. That's new beginnings. This is when I start seeing things start moving in the direction that I wanted them to go. And boy, am I seeing it. This year is about to be. But I digress. You want to make sure that during this season, you're very intentional. I put that you embrace your reawakening and you start sowing seeds of faith and intention during this season. And that is it in a nutshell. This is, I've decided who I am. I've plucked away everything that I didn't need anymore. And now let's start watering. Let's see things start blooming. Let's make moves to make these things work. In the wintertime, you can pour water on the plant, but they're asleep. Springtime, you're being consistent. You're making sure that the sun is on them properly, that they're, in the right temperature, in the right environment, so that they can actually start to pop. And that's exactly what you want to do in spring when you're in the spring season. The next season is going to be the summer season, is expansion and fullness. I love this one. So this is about confidence, outward expression. I call this the Big Bang. This is the Big Bang because now it's wintertime. I'm deciding what type of flower I'm going to be. Springtime, okay, I see some shoots coming out. And summertime is like, oh yeah, I'm a rose this year. Or, nah, you see this posy on me. Whatever it is that you're doing. Of course, I like to use flower references. You can be a butterfly if you want. Whatever you're going to be. This is when you start seeing it. In that summertime feel, I put stepping boldly into your purpose, shining your light, and bearing your spiritual fruit. So, oh yeah, when you hit that summertime, this is when it's like, this is me. This is the year that I'm this person. And then lastly, fall. Fall is a good one. For me, it's always, it's when I start to pull back and go into my hermit, because that's when I really want to look at who's around me, the purpose for them being around. Where a lot of people have trepidation when it comes to letting people go, I don't, because I know that anything that is for me doesn't actually disappear. And that if I need to release, it's purposeful always. So keeping that in mind, you understand that we were not put here to hold on to people, places, and things. That's just not. We are supposed to have a loose grip. Things flow to us and away from us the way that they are supposed to. When you hold on to something too tight, it gets snatched from your grip. It reminds me of the tide. That's the vision I'm getting. Thank you, Holy Spirit. The tide coming in and pulling out everything off of the sand. That's kind of how it's supposed to be. It comes in and it sweeps everything back out. Then it comes in, sweeps everything back out. Let things leave your life if they are intended to leave. There's nothing like having someone toss you a grenade, and instead of you throwing it away, you're holding on to it. Throw it away. Throw it away. Most likely it's going to explode if it's a grenade, definitely. But with that, really just understand that anything that you're supposed to have will come back to you, will stay with you. Whether it is a job, whether it is a relationship, whether it is an item, whatever is for you cannot disappear. It can come back bigger, better, and better, or it can do a lot of harm in your hands, just like that grenade reference. So be okay with letting things go, because it's the only way to make room. We prune trees when they're not growing properly or they're not bearing fruit. You throw away clothes when you outgrow them. Understand that it is a part of rebirth to let go. Death is important, just like life is important. You wouldn't value life if there was no death. So that duality in everything is very important to just allow. Be in flow state. Flow state is not just for the feminine aspects. We all have to live in feminine and masculine. Just like I said, I start to prune in that springtime. Sometimes I start doing things to cultivate my garden. That is me working in my masculine. But my feminine is allowing those things to come without me saying that it has to be one way. Allowing my Father to do His work. So get to know your seasons. Understand what it means when you go into these seasons. Are you feeling like you're not sure, you're lacking direction? So since you're lacking direction, you feel kind of scattered, most likely you're in a season of wait. You're most likely in your winter season. Take the time to just allow it to be. If you feel ready to move, everything's calling you to drive into those, most likely in your spring and summertime seasons. It is time for you to move, time for you to shift. But learn how to trust yourself. When you are in those winter seasons, in the fall season when you're planning, cultivate self-trust. When you truly trust your intuition, you can never go wrong. It's always going to guide you the way you need to be. So take your time. Figure you out, because this is how you really figure out what to move and how to play it. I got the vision of a chessboard. You start making those moves properly. Next thing you know, you got them in check. But while you got them in check, you still got at least 3 more plays that you could have played out before you even got there. All right, I'm gonna leave this right here. Love and light and peace.